welcome to episode 6 of A Friend in It With podcast. I'm giggling because my husband just called and said he would be home in 15 minutes. And I said, oh, I can't film with you here because he would just be in the other room listening to me talk to myself the whole time. No, I could, but it would just be a little embarrassing, I think. I think if anyone were watching me sit here, talk to my phone, I would be embarrassed. So anyhow, welcome. I'm going to see what I can get in to tell you about. I have been wanting to be here for a while. I think it's been about a month since I stopped in. I just don't feel like I had that much knitting to talk about. So not that I have that much more. I've been working on my Humulus sweater. And if you guys, I've seen so many of these on Ravelry. I just finished my first sleeve, which I wanted to mention to you. I decided after I made Pink Memory Sweater last year, I just don't like doing sleeves on double point needles. I feel like the sweater is already there and I'm turning, and then I've tried to devise a plan where I can just turn every other. Anyhow, I decided to do my sleeve flat this time and seam it together later. And that is going to work for me from here on out because I'm faster that way. Not that I'm in a hurry, but it just is less fidgety and it seems to go quicker. It is a little fidgety, I must say, to get started. So if you want to use a magic loop, I don't have any. I would maybe do magic loop, but I don't have any super long needles in the bigger sizes. So, and I think I only have actually a size 3 that I can do magic loop socks on. I don't have any of the interchangeable needles with all the extra cords. So, it's a little fidgety here. I used actually 2 circulars to get started, and then once it started, once I was able to sort of get it to lay flat, and not pull too hard at the seam at the opening, then I could just continue flat. So knitting and purling, good old stockinette. So yeah, that's the Humulus. I'm hoping to finish it this week. So I mentioned before that I was going to set goals for myself this year as far as my knitting, and I mentioned head, like something for your head, something maybe for your neck, something for your body, your hands and your feet. And Sweet Dart, when I said the body, Darby, Sweet Darby, thank you, Darby, she said heart. So I love it. It's head, heart, hands, and feet. And then you can maybe throw in a neck, or that's all your head anyhow. So something for your neck or your head. Head, heart, hands, and feet. And I just loved that. So every quarter I was gonna do a head, heart, hands, and feet. And so somebody else asked me how I use this journal book and the project log. And I just do different things in it. Maybe tape my label in it, do a little graph, sketch something out. I always do the charts. This is Find Your Fade that I started back in October. I always put the start date, the end date. I might just do a whole podcast on this. But I was going to say, so then I wrote, because I started this in 2017 and then I ended up writing 2018. And here's what I did. I broke them down into quarters, and with the head, heart, hands, and feet. And then I also want to come up with a design of some sort each quarter. Just something little or something not. I don't know what yet, but hopefully the inspiration will hit me. But that is how I'm going to break it down. And then over here are some ideas that I want to knit throughout the year, and then I can kind of color coordinate, well, that's a head or that's a heart. So, yeah. So I have accomplished the head, the hands, and the feet, and the Humulus sweater is my heart. So that's my last one in this quarter, which be over at the end of March. But also I decided when I finish my big projects in the quarter and I have some extra time, I have to pick up a work in progress. I can't start anything new because I have about 6 things floating around and a couple blankets actually, and I started a We Are Knitters sweater last year that I'd like to finish, but that's not going to be my new, because there are some things I just want to start. So in the quarter, if I can finish up one of my new projects, then I have to go to work in progress before I start a new project. So it's kind of, it's mentally keeping me a little more focused, which is good. I was feeling sort of all over the place with my knitting. So that is how I use this, and my quarter will be finished. Oh, the design in that quarter, I do have something that I was working on. So these are the colors, and hopefully it will be finished pretty soon. Definitely by the end of the quarter. But I will share this with you probably in the next podcast. But it's out of Woolfolk Far. Oh my goodness, guys, it is dreamy. So yeah, I'm excited about this little project. The other things that I did make this month, my friend Suzanne shared a pattern with me. She had made me a heart last year. I wish I would have brought it down, but so I decided to put that heart in my suitcase when I traveled for the first time after I had been home for so long taking care of Andrew. So I thought this is such a great little reminder of all the love in the world and the goodness in people everywhere in this community, in my community. So I decided I would take it with me wherever I go. So then around Valentine's Day, she gifted me the pattern, and I have made several of them. And these are a couple that I had left that I hadn't filled yet. And I also, on a little piece of paper, I just wrote a little note, you know, like you are loved, or I love you, and I put the date on it and I stuffed it in there. Not that anyone will ever get it out, but I just love knowing that I was sending that on. So this is called Nome is Where the Heart Is. I'll link it, but they're fun, and I think even in any color throughout the year. I only did pinks for Valentine's Day, but I think that would just be a little great even to put on a bag for somebody for their gift. But the pattern is really fun, and they're so, you know, it's going to be stuffed. And it's easy, uses up some of your spare yarn. So yes, I did want to share that with you. And now I want to share a couple of knitting tips, because I learned something a couple weeks ago from my friend Linda. She was talking about joining the extra stitch on her needle. My friend Amy was asking about it, and Linda said, oh yeah, you just join. So I have been making toast, and I've been joining yarn, working in the round for a very long time, and never knew that trick. So what you do is you just, when you cast on, say you need 34 stitches, toast, you add an extra stitch, and then when you join, you take the stitch from the right hand needle before you join over to the left, and then you knit the 2 stitches on the left needle together. It seems to have a more seamless joint than just joining. So I really liked that. And the other tip I wanted to tell you was, I put this on Instagram, and I am guilty as charged. My mother has told me for years not to put my needles into my knitting. I would always, look, I'm going to do it now for you. I'll try to find the holes, the stitches. That. Never, ever never do that. Because what she said, and this is her philosophy and her thinking, you know, you're going to break some fibers when you go through them. It's just something that will happen unless it's, you know, I don't know what kind of yarn, but most likely you will break fibers going through them. So she recommended never, ever, ever doing that. And I find myself doing it sometimes, and I catch myself. Anyhow, I mention it on Instagram, and a lot of people do it. And so I was just going to tell you that that might happen. Words of the wise and longtime knitters. So we always can learn new things, which I love about this craft and this amazing community, the sharing. And I think I talked so quickly that I finished I have one other thing. I wanted to share, the last time I mentioned that these were going on the blog. So on the blog, on the top banner, there's a shop button, and that'll take you to Big Cartel where these are sold. But they're there, and with every purchase, you get a tea bag. But it's not your typical tea. It's not your typical tea bag. Inside are 10 stitch markers. So that's just included in there. There's one marker that is different for the beginning of the round marker, and you know, that's why the one marker is different. But that's something a little fun. They're also sold separately if you wanted to look at those. But yeah, these are there with the tea bag included. And I'll share one other thing I'm doing, which is another challenge. I'm into challenges, but if they're not too difficult, I guess. But I am doing, you know how everyone's doing Whole30. I decided to do 30 minutes of exercise for 30 days in a row. Just 30. So it can be anything. So my friend Kristen and I are doing that. 30 and 30 and 30. And anyhow, I thought if anyone wanted to play along, we're on day 3. So, and it is February 27th today. So, you know, if you want to, but even if you want to, you know, go at your own time, it's just a nice little challenge. And before the weather gets super great and we're all bearing more skin and shedding layers, it's a nice little thing to do. So, and I'm drinking more water too. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Keep on knitting, and remember, you always have a friend to knit with. Take care.